Do you want to improve your health? Well, I can't think of a better way than combining anti-inflammatory foods along with fasting. Let's talk about all the amazing ways that these particular foods will improve your health. Hey Wellness Warrior, I'm Dr. Zyrowski, and one of the first foods on our list is going to be olive oil. And this is a food that you can eat after fasting, and here's why you should do it. So olive oil, according to the research, is really good because it's loaded with polyphenols. Now these polyphenols can do a few things for you. First of all, it's going to help improve your immune system function, lower your blood pressure, and even help keep your blood sugar balanced. So that's pretty cool. Now, olive oil also has something known as phenolic compounds, okay? And these phenolic compounds are really awesome at reducing inflammation in your body. Now, one of the things I love about olive oil is it's very satiating. When you look at any studies out there, one of the things that they tell you is that when you consume more fats, then you become more satiated. And this is very important when fasting because hunger a lot of times can become an issue. So olive oil to help you keep satiated. Now, when consuming olive oil, remember, as a pro tip, we don't ever want to heat it because it can actually denature it. So it's really good to use it like on a salad or even as a finishing oil on maybe meat. Now let's talk about our next food here, and this is protein. Now, when we consume protein, we always want to go with the grass-fed, the free-range chicken, that sort of thing. But it's good to consume fatty proteins after you come off your fast. Now, the fatty proteins are going to be higher in omega-3 fatty acids, which are going to have an anti-inflammatory impact on your body. So along with the satiating factor, when it comes to the olive oil, we're going to look at the proteins that will also help you stay satiated. Once again, looking at studies, you consume more protein, you'll find yourself in a position where you're not craving junk food as much. So adding in good proteins, like I said, I like grass-fed beef, I really like salmon. Now, if you're gonna have chicken, I prefer, because it's really lean, you put something like olive oil on it to increase the fat content. Now, let's talk about leafy greens, okay? Because leafy greens are really important to have in your diet in order to keep your micronutrients up. Because when fasting, if we're not getting enough nutrients, we're gonna find ourselves in a position where we become nutrient deficient. A nutrient deficient state in the body causes a lot of health problems over time. So we wanna think about micronutrient dense foods. There's a couple that I highlighted because they're rich in magnesium and potassium. And these are both electrolytes that you wanna make sure that you have in sufficient amounts when you're fasting, okay? Now, we're gonna look at things like collard greens, turnips, spinach, and we also want to make sure we increase all of the different cruciferous vegetables because they're really good for our overall liver health. Now, a lot of these vegetables will have beta carotene in it, which is going to have a positive effect on decreasing C-reactive protein. C-reactive protein is going to be used as an inflammatory marker in the body. So if we decrease the C-reactive protein, we decrease inflammation in the body. So that's a really great thing here. Let's talk about our next food, and this is going to be avocados. Okay, avocados are great for a couple reasons when you're coming off your fast. Here's why. One is because they are loaded with potassium, zinc, and also magnesium. To give you an example, what one study highlights is that you're gonna get about 700 milligrams of potassium just from one avocado. That's really good. And about 58 milligrams of magnesium. So this becomes a big factor when you're fasting. How do I get enough electrolytes in? How do I get enough potassium? We hear that all the time. Where are you gonna get all that potassium from? And avocado is a great place, okay? Now beyond that, avocados are a really great healthy fat that's gonna help hold you over because we wanna get lots of good fat content in, right? Now, avocados are great too because it's gonna help us hit our macros, right? When we're fasting, we will also want to be considerate of our macros. High amounts of fat, moderate amounts of the protein, and then also low amounts of carbohydrates. So always consider your macros because if your macros are off, it's really going to mess with your overall body density, right? If you're not getting enough protein, all of a sudden you start to lose muscle mass, you start to have problems with sleep at night, you start to have hair fall out. It's not a good thing. So we wanna make sure we're getting proper amounts of protein, proper macros as a whole. Now moving on, let's talk about some foods that are gonna help with autophagy, okay? Because this is really cool. One of the things we want to do when fasting beyond decreasing inflammation in our body, is we want to get the benefits of autophagy, which is cell recycling, breaking down unhealthy cells in our body and making new healthy ones out of it. Well, there's a few things that can help with that. One is going to be green tea. Green tea is excellent for drinking after a fast. Here's why. It's loaded with polyphenols and it increases autophagy. Now, here's the thing about green tea too. According to the research, it has something called EGCG and also lots of catechins that have been shown to reduce the risk of cancer and also have an anti-inflammatory effect on the body, which is so cool. Now, beyond that, beyond the power of green tea for promoting autophagy and having an anti-inflammatory effect, we also have coffee. Now, coffee is fantastic for a couple reasons. One, loaded with polyphenols. Also, it has been shown to help stimulate autophagy in the body. If we activate autophagy in the body, one of the things we'll find is that we lower our inflammation. Now, coffee is specifically interesting because it's been shown to mimic calorie restriction in the body, which is going to further promote autophagy. Now, there's a really interesting study about coffee, and what it shows is that 1 to 4 hours after consuming coffee, participants in the study experienced increased autophagy in organs, like both the liver and also the heart. It also triggered autophagy in the muscle group. I say it all the time, coffee is probably one of the healthiest things that the average person consumes on a regular basis. So coffee and green tea will be there in order to help promote all the amazing benefits that you get from fasting, along with having that amazing anti-inflammatory effect. If you like this video, I'm Dr. Zyrowski, and I think you'll really like this video over here next.